Good afternoon, everyone. In today's video, we're looking at a new system to impact the South with some more severe weather around late March. Here is the current United States of America, pretty much the whole national weather radar reflectivity as of right now. We do have a marginal risk for severe storms today. It's really not that much, and it's already happened this morning. We do have, again, severe storms are going to be possible today throughout portions of the East Coast. Also, Florida could see some storms today. Really not that severe, though. As you can see, we're, again, a lot of storms and rain showers, again, across the East Coast. We're seeing a low pressure system bringing some rainfall over here into portions of Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, seeing some rain showers as well. Michigan also seeing a little bit of ice and mix up there in northern Michigan. Again, not much going on today except along the East Coast. Maybe some snow showers up there in Maine. We're also seeing a band of rain showers there in portions of North Dakota, South Dakota as well. Over here, the West Coast is pretty much having a good day. Not much for the West Coast here. That's going to be happening throughout today. Let's go ahead and start off the video here by looking at our future radar. This is again, we're looking at winter precipitation. We're looking at rainfall mix. All of that is in this future radar here that we're going to be looking at. So this is going to be around 12 p.m. today when I'm recording this video. And this video is going to probably post around 3 p.m. of Central Daylight Time. Let's go ahead and move forward. We continue to see, again, rain showers across the East Coast throughout today and tonight. We also see some heavy rain and possibly some ice and snow into portions of the Northeast overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Again, these systems are going to be moving out. We're going to see some lake effect snow possible and also some snow showers for the weekend across portions of the Northeast. And now we're heading into more the 27th of March. We're still seeing some snow. Seeing some snow for Sunday across the Northeast. You may see a lot of snow from the lake effect snow if you do live in those areas. We do get a new system around the 29th. It's going to be entering the West Coast. You can see that low pressure system, a pretty strong low pressure system, already at 997 millibars or 997 pressure, which is already pretty strong. Note that it's already in the Pacific at 997 millibars. We're going to move forward here throughout the 28th. We're definitely seeing a lot of rainfall and possibly some mountain snow across the West Coast around Monday. And then this low pressure begins here to move across the northern plains, across the central plains. You see the mountain snow, very heavy mountain snow there in Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, even New Mexico, seeing some of that snowfall there. And then we move, and this is going to be Tuesday of next week. So only about a week out here, less than a week out, that we're talking about here. As you can see, this low pressure is going to be a cold front that's going to be entering the dry line area. So Texas, Oklahoma, you see those storms possibly firing here around 9 p.m. of Tuesday, and then we had a 12 a.m. around Wednesday. As you can see, we're definitely seeing a line of severe storms, possibly supercells. We're talking about in Texas, Oklahoma, even Kansas could see some of those supercells in the northern portion of that low pressure system. You can really see this is going to be a severe thunderstorm setup due to this low pressure system with kind of that curve. You can tell this is a cold front that's going to be here in Texas and Oklahoma, looking definitely a lot like a dry line setup, a typical dry line setup here in late March and into April. We're going to see a lot of these setups here in April, especially in the South. Now, we're not paying attention to the northern Midwest. You can see there's a lot of ice there in the northern Midwest. So this is going to be a late March ice storm there in Minnesota and Wisconsin. You're also going to see a lot of rainfall below that from these leftover thunderstorms. As you can see, you're seeing more thunderstorms by the afternoon hours of Wednesday, and possibly some blizzard-like conditions again once again in Kansas. This is again late March. You typically don't see snow in Kansas in late March. There's just enough of cool temperatures diving south there into the central U.S. to bring some of that snowfall with it in late March. Again, this is going to be 3 p.m. of Wednesday. You're definitely seeing a lot of severe storms, a massive line of severe storms there in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Missouri. This is looking like a lot like the same setup we just had a couple days ago. Just a tad more north, of course. And this was a lot more south, so we really didn't see much snowfall from this. But this, again, looking a lot similar to the setup a couple of days ago. So once again, another massive severe setup is going to be expected here for early next week into even Thursday. We're still seeing some of that severe weather on the afternoon hours of Thursday, and then it should be dissipating there by around the evening hours of Thursday. Again, Friday, the East Coast could still see some of those storms. And look at that snowfall from that low pressure system bringing that severe setup. It's going to be entering the Missouri, Illinois area, bringing also some snowfall there to possibly the northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Chicago, Milwaukee could see some of that snowfall there for late week next week. Now we're gonna be diving into more of the dynamics of this system. We're looking at the 500 millibar wind speed from the GFS model. This is what we typically look at when we identify long-range severe thunderstorm setups. So this is looking at about 6 a.m. of Thursday. As you can see, we're seeing a massive dip. This is what brought the massive severe weather outbreak that panned across the south into the southeast and even the East Coast for yesterday. That brought some major tornadoes, especially even in New Orleans. We saw an EF3 tornado in the late night hours. Also, multiple strong tornadoes there in Texas and Oklahoma. Brief strong tornadoes in Mississippi as well that we did track the last few days. However, let's go ahead and move forward when this severe weather setup is expected. As you can see, there's not much of a dip with the wind speeds 500 millibars up into the atmosphere for the rest of this week. There is again, you can definitely see that jet stream there diving into the southeast for late this week. That's what's going to bring that all that snowfall up there in the northeast for this weekend and also early next week. And then that moves out of the area, bringing less snowfall to the northeast, and that's when we get our severe setup. This is going to be around the early morning hours of Wednesday. And you are definitely seeing that setup. The low pressure system is going to be right up here. You're definitely seeing a lot of those winds wrapping around like a 50% circle. Again, look at this. You can see this massive dip, and it's going to be going insanely north here. This is going to be bringing, I expect another major severe weather outbreak expected here for Texas and Oklahoma. Look at this dip. You are seeing likely up to 100 knots, even up here in Oklahoma, 500 millibars out. This is yet again another very strong system that's going to be unleashing a lot of severe storms and probably tornadoes, as this is looking like one of those setups once again that's going to bring a lot of tornadoes once again for the Texas, Oklahoma, and this is going to continue here for Louisiana, Arkansas. Missouri is going to see a lot of those severe storms once again in the overnight hours into Thursday, where you're again going to see a massive line of storms here because this is going to be so north. You can definitely tell this is going to be definitely a line of storms throughout the overnight hours of Wednesday into Thursday. And then you get another dip here, which I expect there may even be more supercells for Thursday across the southeast, because this is a little angled here instead of going straight north. That it might be just that perfect angle for some supercells ahead of that line, bring maybe some possibly decent tornado threats for portions of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. So you're gonna have to really pay attention to this severe setup if you do live in these areas. Now let's look at the dew point temperatures. We're looking at dew points are pretty much moisture within the atmosphere that comes up from the Gulf of, it usually comes up from the Gulf of Mexico, rises into portions of the southern plains in March and April, and brings these severe weather setups. This is one of the key components to these severe weather setups is moisture. These storms need a lot of moisture to kick off strong, and if you even have too much moisture, those tornadoes can be very rain wrapped and unable to see. That's typically the most dangerous type of tornado setups, is when we have a lot of moisture and almost too much moisture that these storms can really absorb. As you can see for Wednesday, we are seeing upwards of 65 Fahrenheit of dew points, which is honestly really not a bunch. It's not a bunch of dew points, but it is enough to get storms going, but not for a whole while. But typically it's gonna be just enough, and especially for photogenic tornadoes, you're not gonna want a lot of moisture. For photogenic tornadoes, you want to see those tornadoes, so you don't want rain wrapped storm modes if you do want to see a tornado. So there's just enough moisture for this setup that there is going to be definite supercells, a definite tornado threat here for Texas and Oklahoma, and even into for again Wednesday, Thursday into Friday. Again, tornado threats for all 3 days, I do believe, for next week. Let's look at Supercell Composite. Again, this is the GFS model, so things are definitely going to change. This is going to be 6 days out here, so I'm not sounding the alarm just yet here. And this is definitely not going to be as severe as the last event. We're just going to be talking about this future event here. We're just going to be talking about the ingredients in place and how the storm modes are going to be. So again, this is going to be a typical dryline setup. Once again, dryline setups do typically produce a decent tornado threat. Look at this Supercell Composite. We're definitely reaching into more on the 4 and 7, which is a very decent supercell risk. Again, supercells are very strong thunderstorms that sometimes even do produce tornadoes. Again, supercells typically produce pretty heavy winds, a very large hail, and sometimes tornadoes. Those supercells are the main storms that do produce tornadoes, but also a lot of the other storms can produce tornadoes as well, just kind of a lower risk. But it really depends on what ingredients are in place, what shear values are like, what wind speed values are like, and all of that stuff. It really depends on what the storm mode is like with these types of systems, because one storm mode could be insanely windy, insanely large hail, and another storm mode could have no risk of hail and wind at all, and just mainly a tornado threat. So it really depends on what the storm mode is and what kind of ingredients are in place, because one storm mode, these types of storm modes and types of wind speeds kind of fluctuate a lot in the forecasting severe weather. It just really depends here on what ingredients again are in place, what kind of storm mode, because all of these storm modes can produce tornadoes as long as those ingredients are in place. Let's move forward here, and it looks like the main tornado threat may be for Wednesday, and I think this is actually going to be happening in the late night hours of Tuesday into Wednesday into Thursday, instead of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is going to be the main days for that severe threat. And also look at this, there's definitely going to be a supercell threat here maybe in Tennessee and Kentucky for Thursday, instead of down here in the south, which is quite interesting here across the Ohio Valley. You're going to have to watch out for that possible severe setup for Thursday there in the Ohio Valley. If you did enjoy the in-depth forecast here, I'll have much more details coming in the upcoming days. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you are new, you won't miss a single update or live stream here for this upcoming new severe setup, once again happening in the south. It's again storm season, so these severe setups are going to become much more frequent throughout the next few months. Also, make sure to share this video with any friends or family that may enjoy these very in-depth forecast videos. But as always, stay safe.